All right, we're back with another episode of the I-64 Sports Podcast. I got my guy up here today, Mitch Brown from Channel 3. Welcome.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for letting me in, man.
Yeah, thanks for finally getting
here. Yeah, you already know how I work, man.
CP time.
Yeah.
We with that.
Yeah.
But hey, man, thanks for joining us, man.
For sure.
It's good to have you. How's everything going?
Everything's good, man. You know, we just finished up that college. It went a little bit longer than we expected college basketball season, obviously, with UVA. But, you know, now we're kind of in that period where we can get back into the bag of getting creative with people and finding those stories, you know, like the local kids and stuff. Because during, like, you know, July to, like, January, it's all football, especially if the Redskins make the playoffs. That never really happens. But, you know, we got right after that, we go right into college basketball. Okay. And then we had a crazy year this year, you know, ODU, UVA, Tech. Right. That, I mean, like years past since I've been here.
North State came.
Yeah, North State. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've heard about that before. You know, it's usually never that crazy. So it was interesting this year to be going to like Connecticut and then going to Louisville, cities I've never been to.
You got a chance to cover the Final Four?
I didn't go to the Final Four. I went up to the Elite Eight. That game was crazy. Purdue UVA. That game was insane. So
where was that?
That was Louisville.
Okay.
Food banging down there too. That's my main thing when I go places is to check out the food. You know, I can get to the city later. I just got to check out that food.
Well, what was the best place you ate in Louisville?
Oh man, there was a spot called Merle's Whiskey Kitchen. I remember that off top because they had this chicken sandwich that was spiced just right. Like it's not like you're not gonna find that in Virginia. We got good chicken, trust and believe, especially right here. But I don't know what they did to that batter, yo. It's something in the it's something in the water here, something in the batter down there, man.
That's funny. Yeah. So when you go, anytime you go in a new place, like what are you trying to get a feel for?
I'm trying to get a feel for, because, you know, in this business, we move around a lot. So I'm always trying to get a feel. Like, if I'm going somewhere, like, I went to Philly for the NFL draft a couple years ago. I'm trying to get a feel for, like, do I fit here? Do I like the way it moves down here? Like, I've gone to places like Atlanta and stuff like that. Even if I'm not on work, I'm always looking at it from that aspect, because this business, you never know where you're going to end up. Right. But I always just want to, you know, see what's the thing everybody's doing. Like in Louisville, they were talking about the Ali Museum. They were talking about the Louisville Slugger Museum. Just seeing those. I'm a touristy dude, so I'm going to check out your city, what you got to offer. Right. And then also, I always want to go to like a baseball or a basketball game. If I'm in the city in August, y'all got a baseball game going, I might not be the biggest baseball fan, but I'm going to check out a game, just see what that stadium's talking about. That's just the sports geek.
And do you think it's also about, because we don't have that here, like we don't have a professional team here. So it's like anytime you get a chance to, even if you're at work or you're not at work, you just kind of want to see what it culture's like.
Yeah, that allure of just a new arena feel is A1, because man, I went to Arizona Stadium over this past season, Cardinals. Oh, okay. I was like, yo, this is crazy. That's why they be having like the college football national championship and stuff. Like you see that, you see how big that joint is, man. I'm just like, yo, this is what I'm trying to do, is just travel and see stuff for real.
Do you think Hampton Roads has the potential to add a professional team?
Man, I got so hyped a couple years ago when the Kings got mentioned in the same sentence as Virginia Beach, man. I was like, you know what? I think that they have the potential. It's just all 7 cities got to work together, man. Yeah. We can't get that happening. I see they're trying to work towards it, but like, if they could get all 7 cities to come together, whether it be Virginia Beach or whether it be like Norfolk, create that super arena that holds like 19,000, we would get things. We would get NCAA tournament regionals. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when I went to Hartford, I looked at their arena and it's probably from the 70s, 80s. It used to be a mall inside of that joint. So you already know how outdated that is.
And we're talking about Hartford, Connecticut, where there's nothing to do in March. I mean, no disrespect to Hartford, Connecticut, but there's nothing to do in March in Hartford, Connecticut.
I mean, you might have like a double-A baseball team, you know, in semi-pro soccer, but there's not much to do. If you put in Virginia Beach an 18,500 seat arena, brand new, with you know, some parking around it, and see, that's where the light rail comes in. But also, I mean, just besides that fact, 18,500, you're getting NCAA regionals. You're getting people that skip over Norfolk and Virginia Beach concerts because they don't want to go out to the amphitheater. You're getting those people in the fall.
Right.
Like there's so much opportunity there. I think from a standpoint of like my generation wanting to be able to access this stuff, they don't want to have to go to DC. Like every artist goes to DC. Like I go to DC often to go see the artists I like to listen to. So
because the Verizon Center's there.
Exactly. Verizon Center, not even that, just the Fillmore, Fillmore Center holds more than, the Norva or something like that. Okay. So it's just the allure there. I feel like that arena right there near the ocean front would do numbers.
Right. And I know when we talked about the Something in the Water Festival, I know a big question we both got was what are they going to do with the basketball court there?
Yeah.
Have you heard any word about that?
From what I've heard, they're not. They're either have already tore it down or they're about to tear it down.
I actually heard that. I ain't want to, let nobody feelings, but I heard. I actually heard they've been kind of process of tearing it down, like the last day of the event.
It's it was interesting to see how that worked out because I was like, yo, is this gonna people just be like, yo, I got next pulling up with their 5 or whatever.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think it's dope, man. And I said it when they first said, man, that could be Venice Beach each. That could be our Venice Beach. But Adidas came in, the court is dope, man.
Yeah.
But, right after that, people was like, yo, what are they gonna do with it?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea too for something for them to look at, especially Aaron Rouse out there. He's progressive thinking. He's he's thinking about, how we can advance and how we can, be more inclusive and do stuff. Trying to kind of change up the script, because the oceanfront's been the same for I don't know how long. There needs to be something new to bring the younger kids, because I know me, I used to love the beach, but I don't want to get in the sand no more,
But I still want to go down there.
Yeah, you want to go down there, find something to do instead of eating and drinking. You need those options, man, especially if you don't want to do stuff on that touristy strip on Atlantic where you going to do golf or stuff like that. Basketball court would be perfect, man. Just regulate it, have, 30-minute games tops, or 20-minute games tops. Keep it moving.
Right. 5-on-5 tournaments every now and then.
Yeah, king of the court. Do some stuff like that. Ways people can earn some cash or something like that. Over the summer, somebody regulate it. Boom.
Right. I think, but like you said, I think we have to be progressive in our thinking, and the divide has to stop. Like, it's too much of a divide now. Black versus white, young versus old, and it comes to head, in an area, resort area like Virginia Beach, because you have such a mixture of cultures and people. Yeah. But I think the Something in the Water Festival showed that, everybody is looking for something to bring us all together. And
that's exactly what I just wanted to observe, because I bought a ticket, but I knew I was going to eventually sell it because I had to work. But my thing was, I wanted to see how everything went this weekend. I didn't think anybody was going to get, shot or anything like that. But from what I wanted to see was, okay, we have a couple of scuffles here and there. That's bound to happen with 35,000 people in one place. But how can we leave a positive impact? And it seemed like everybody that I talked to that I know that went to the festival, they were like, yo, my vibes were just perfect. It was a positive impact. Everybody felt good, but they were sore as hell after that because
that sand is no joke.
Yeah, you better keep doing the squats and leg extensions, man.
Yeah, that sand ain't no joke.
The quad's not gonna forgive you. But I mean, everybody that I talked to was just like, it was a positive impact. There was I have no complaints other than it getting rained out. Like I don't know if I would have made it through 3 days. You know. So I think, at the price point that Pharrell said, everybody's complaining at first, but after they were like, man, that was worth the money, especially when they seen Ho. He was like, y'all shut up quick.
Man.
Yeah, let me talk to you quick. This is the first joint, man. I think it's perfect, man. I think that's something that, from what I read on the Facebook crowds and Twitter crowds are way different. So reading the Facebook crowd, I was seeing nothing but, this was great for the city. Glad to see all the unity. This is what it can be like if we all come together. You're right. And then, the Twitter crowd was like, man, I'm already booking my hotel for next year.
Lit. Like, Twitter was on it.
Yeah, man. I mean, and then Monday they was doing stories about, the hotels getting booked up.
Just so much positive stuff, man. I didn't even go. I had actually had a thing to do I had a church basketball tournament that we put together out in Portsmouth. Okay. Didn't get to go, man, but it just like you said, the energy that weekend, it was just phenomenal. And I feel like it's just still carrying, like everybody's so positive. And
what was dope about it was that it coincided with a huge NFL draft week for ODU too. And in the state, just having the NFL draft going, then you have something in the water going. There was also like the St. Jude's Dream Home. There was just so much going on in the area that everybody was prideful. And we already know folks from the 7-5 are prideful already. And that's something that me being here for almost a decade now, I take pride in that too, you know, because this is basically home. So I was proud to see everybody talking about Virginia Beach, you know, the 757, because seeing something of this magnitude here is something that could only be imagined. And everybody was skeptical about what was going to happen, but it shut all the critics up. And now I feel like there's a bridge for us to be able to not only bring something in the water, but also start thinking about other things too. Like you said, the basketball court, bringing events there weekly, man. It's the sky is not the limit on what they can do with this.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope, man. But let's not talk too much about other people. Let's talk about you. How did you get your start in journalism?
Man, I knew when I was young I wanted to be either a sports agent or a sports journalist. Okay. I was like, yo, screw that. I'm not going to law school. Once I found out I had to do law school, I'm like, I'm good on that. Yeah. But, you know, for me, I knew that, you know, from like middle school on that I wanted to eventually be in sports, whether it be TV, radio, or print. And just the way the trends were going, I did an internship in college just about each year, other than freshman year. And I did also in the summers, I was doing like, you know, working for a national defense contractor up in Northern Virginia. Okay. Loved the opportunity. The pay was good, but I just knew that I couldn't sit at a desk 9 to 5 or, you know, 7 to 3, whatever the hours, get up early, go to work. Let's do it, you know, 4 more days a week. And that was a good experience because I learned that about myself. And also I didn't know what the hell they were talking about most of the time. So I ended up, you know, that sophomore year, I come back, you know, I'm doing WOD radio each year, doing the show. And then I start getting involved with the newspaper at school. And then, you know, senior years when I finally get that TV internship, because I'd had a radio internship that was early mornings, but they were telling me, you know, it's a dying industry. You got to do sales. You got to be able to do all that. You got to be profitable. And so learning that, and then a couple months later, they saw that radio station. The show was no longer that I was interning for. So that just showed me, okay, you got to stay away from that. Print, I just didn't want to write that much for real. You know, TV, write a little bit short. Yeah. So I ended up doing the TV internship at Wavy.
What year was this?
This was 2014 fall. I did that, got a lot of experience there, did well with that, and I was able to land an editor job that following spring.
Also with Wavy?
Yeah. Yeah, because really I had applied for one job, but there was another girl that was in my ODU TV News class, Kiana Patterson. She's actually, So we were in the same class at ODU TV News. And we were one of the like first classes they offered of that TV news at ODU. So we did that together, and she interned as well at the same time. And so she got that job as a production assistant over me. So she had her foot in the door. So I'm like, oh man, I'm left out back. I got to figure something out. But then an editor job opens up, and that was perfect for me. I get learning, you know, how to do editing and stuff like that for the show's deadlines, being quick cutting and stuff. Do that from April until August. August, I get the shot at, you know, WTKR to be a full-time AM photographer. So I'm waking up 3:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Ooh, that was rough, man.
Better than me.
Yeah, that was rough, man. You know, but I knew, you know, 10 months of that, you know, would get me ready to, you know, I would be able to use the gear to work on my reel, work on my craft, shoot stories, you know, and it just so happened that when we got a new news director, that I was able to get a shot to go live. It was the Hampton UVA NCAA regional a couple of years ago.
I was at that game.
You were at the game, yeah.
I think UNC played the same day. They played Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, that's it. And that's when they had Chavis and all them. So we you know, went down there. It was just me. I had the MMJ the shot, one-man band. I had to do a shot for us, and I had to do one for Richmond. So I'm like, ooh, 2 live shots right off the bat. And the news director said before I left, he's like, if you do well, you know, you might, you know, turn this into a job. So long story less long, I ended up being able to get that into a job. I'm on that sports, anchor and reporter now.
Okay.
And so we started this department from scratch. Me and Adam Winkler, he came from Austin, Texas. We started the department from scratch, and about 3 years later now, we won a couple of awards. We got a format down, and it's good money now.
Business is good. Business is good. So you guys started the sports department at Channel 3.
Yeah, and it was kind of like they had scratched it and said, we want to start new. They had built a new sports office and stuff like that. They wanted to kind of get into a more sportsy lane because they were only doing full-time sports lane. They were only doing it once a week on Friday nights.
Okay.
And then during the weekends a little bit. So shout out Mackenzie, that was before us, but they basically was
blonde hair.
Yes.
I met her.
Yeah,
I met her
cool
around the same
people,
time I met
man.
you.
Because we actually worked together on when they had scratched sports. They moved her to the mornings. We were working mornings together. I don't know if you wake up early to see her. It was me and her. We were just doing we did one of the most memorable times. We were actually doing Virginia Beach Food Week. So we were just eating at 5 a.m. in the morning. But so ultimately we ended up getting the department started again, and they built a lot of stuff for us. So it's been a great ride.
That's dope. So from the time you were in school at ODU till you got your first job, how many years was that?
2015. It was about a year. It was about a year because I graduated May 2015. I didn't start full time on air until May 2016. And it was it's kind of unheard of. A 22-year-old kid starting a market, top 50 market. What is he about? And I was trash at first, man. It took some time to learn who you are, feel like yourself, feel comfortable. That's what everybody was telling me initially. They were like, hey, you just gotta, be comfortable, show your personality, show your energy and stuff like that. Because my suits were baggy, ties was kind of crooked, man. I ain't had tie clips and stuff like that. So I got in the gym a little bit, got the suits a little tighter, and then I had a voice coach out in Yorktown, so I would go there once a week because I had a lisp. And so now it's not as noticeable, but I would basically go out to her once or twice a week, and she would get me all these weird exercises we were doing. We would lay on the ground and do breathing exercises and stuff. So that helped me out tremendously in getting to a point where I felt comfortable enough to stand on my own feet and start doing my thing on air, feeling more like Mitch. So that's where I'm at now.
So how is, as a black, because me personally, as a black journalist, it's kind of hard to balance, your personality to what people expect of you.
Yeah.
How do you balance that on here?
Honestly, I feel like I'm authentically myself because, I grew up in a melting pot in Northern Virginia. So when I went to Stonewall in high school, I was around, blacks, whites, Latinos every day, a heavy dose of Latinos every day and Hispanic Americans. So I was able to, I felt like that helps mold my personality when I came to ODU. And I was just able to adapt to everybody. I'm not saying I'm out here code switching or whatever.
I got you.
But I feel like I kind of appeal to everybody. I don't, I'm not saying I'm not, all black, but I basically, I feel like it's just where I'm in a lane where I'm just kind of me, you know.
You're not assimilating to different culture.
Exactly. I'm not out here pandering or anything like that. So I feel like, if I like to incorporate pop culture jokes and stuff like that, I just did a bit last night. You saw the Kentucky Derby and how that turned out. The one horse was supposed to be in to win. So I did a little Steve Harvey joint last night. I'm like, folks, I gotta apologize. This is what the card said, but I just like to keep it relevant, and Twitter is huge in what we do now, as opposed to what it was, even 10 years ago. So I look at what people are talking about on Twitter, and I try and incorporate that in the shows, man. It's that's what it is now to me. Be digital first, and then it translates to TV. Gotcha.
What do you think has been the biggest story you've ever done?
Oh man, I think Allen Iverson, interviewing him, and Michael Vick, being able to highlight what they're doing in Newport News, man. They're doing something special up there. At their Boys and Girls Club. It's not every day you got two legends in one Boys and Girls Club, you know? So being able to cover those two, and just kind of sit them down one-on-one, talk to them about, what the NBA, Allen, he talked with me about what the NBA's platform is now and how proud of the guys he is. That's why he's always at Sixers games hugging dudes. He's like like the uncle, like Uncle AI is in the building, you know.
Come on, Daffy, let me get a shot.
Yeah, man. You know, just let me get one off, you know, in my 3XT.
You see Melo. You see Melo at the Brooklyn Nets game. Caught the ball. Like, he looked like he was about to fire that
he was
thing.
about to shoot. Everybody like, yeah.
Come on, Melo.
Like, man. Uncle Melo, man.
That's what's up, though, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Are there any story that you like wanted to do that, you know, you weren't able to do?
I think one of the stories I always wanted to do was kind of tie in basically how you know, Aaron Johnson, he's one of the, you know, top trainers in the area.
Okay.
Him and his brother. I wanted to kind of tie in how he works with these guys in the offseason. You saw O'Shane Zimenez get drafted, Travis Fulgham. He works out with all these dudes, but a lot of people don't know. They just see, they hear them training. You know, but the Johnsons, like, they're out there, you know, they come from a track and field background. So it's like, yo, like, how
are they from this area?
They are. They're from Virginia Beach.
Okay.
And so, like, I wanted to kind of tie in, you know, them getting dudes ready for the draft, getting them ready for these workouts and stuff. Everybody that, you know, basically is somebody in football or in, you know, speed stuff, they come to the Johnsons, you know, and there's a lot of trainers in this area that I wanted to kind of do stuff on that because they do that certain type of stuff. And you see all the athletes kind of low key in the off season coming out here, you know, working out. Those are the type of stories I like because it's like, we can talk about you during it, you know, in season, but what are you doing in the off season to keep that, you know, get ready for that?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How do you feel seeing your alma mater do so well this year?
Man, that was dope. You know, it's dope. And it's like, I got to keep the fan cap off.
Yeah, that's how. Right.
I got to keep the fan cap off on air, man. But I can't lie. I'm hyped. Like, I'm hyped. You know, and it's funny because I was just as hyped for Norfolk State though too, because those runs that they were on were crazy. Like, they were winning every game in conference, and like, I just started to, you know, to lump them together like, yo, all right, I haven't seen ODU do this before. I was in school. When I was in school, they never did this. You know, we never went to the tournament. We hadn't been to the tournament since I was a high school senior. Right. And I thought I was going to George Mason at the time. They didn't accept me, but it's all good. We made it work. I've been waiting to get that off for years.
Shout out to ODU.
Yeah, man. You already know. Shout out ODU for giving me a shot, man. Chip on my shoulder. But, you know, seeing them do that was it was remarkable, man. And like, you know, watching Ahmad and BJ grow over the years, seeing X come out of his shell and be the X factor. And then, you know, just seeing them do that, man, that's so dope. That's something that, you know, especially getting the chance to cover them. I didn't take that for granted because it could have been someone else covering it. But Adam, he's always been dope about giving me shots. You know, I like the Cowboys too. So people don't know. I like Cowboys. I cover the Redskins, but I keep a fair cap on that too. So I just try to keep it neutral in the middle. Gotcha. Sometimes the fan, I mean, it's in the town. We're at ODU, so I might, you know, lean a little bit that way, but it's not like, the one thing though, people think I don't like rock with like NSU or Hampton and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, like I get up there at least once a season. Like Hampton is different because their games start at like 6:00. Our show is at 6:00. You know, if we don't have, sometimes we don't have two people in we're a 2-man apartment. We don't have two people in, you know, the office. So it's hard to get up there and then get back for a 10:00 show as well. Like where other stations have a 10:45 or just an 11. So it's hard to time that out. But, you know, we try and show love to each of the schools, or at least, you know, I try and get out there, man, just show my face, man.
No, you definitely do, man. You actually you come out in the community, like you done stories when we did the USA tournament. And when we came back, you did another story. You do a lot, man. I stuck up for you. You know, I stuck up for you.
Yeah, man. You remember that? The NSU thing, man.
Because I think people have to understand is just, it's hard. It's not even like high school wise. Like, I want to cover every single high school. I want to cover every coach, but I can't. So, you know, it's like we want to give everybody the same amount of energy, but this is hard.
Yeah, it is. And our philosophy, we don't do just like X's and O's stories. We try and find like something that's going to make anybody care, you know, because sports is at the bottom of the totem pole about what people care about. They care about weather. They care about what's happening in their community. And then we get to sports. You know, so we just want to find stories that will resonate with everybody and not just the parents of, you know, that player or, you know, that team. You know, we kind of want to make it resonate with everybody while appealing to the parents of that player or team.
Who are some of the mentors that you have in your career?
Shout out Rob Parker, Fox Sports. It's funny. I met him at the National Association of Black Journalists convention, probably in 2015. I had just graduated, didn't have a job, whatever, but he saw me in the mall, and I think he was with Darren Haynes at the time, eating lunch with him. And he sees me from across the food court, going to get grub. He stands up, introduces himself. I'm like, I know who you are.
Bro, everybody know Rob Parker.
Yeah, like why? Why are you introducing yourself to me? Right. He just wanted to reach out. Maybe he saw a light in me or something. But 4 years later, we're still rocking. We're texting each week, about stuff, and he's just telling me to keep my head up and stuff like that when times get tough. But he's been huge in just being there, especially with his schedule, man. He's a teacher. He does that morning show.
He's a teacher?
He's a professor at USC.
Wow.
Yeah, so he does that. He does Fox Sports Undisputed, and he does his podcast. He does 2 podcasts now. So there's a lot going on with him, but he always responds, and it's not like waiting 2-3 days or whatever. Right. Larry Obama too, man. Just even though we're in different fields, he's taking me out to eat and just talk to me about just keeping the faith and being yourself and stuff like that. He's been huge in my development.
He actually got me started. He got me started at Virginia Poly. 2015.
Yeah.
Got me started. Well, 2014. Got me my start. We were in a competition where there was an expert versus challenger, pick'em thing. I just kept winning. Yeah. So, he gave me a shot. It was like, he gave me a 1-game shot, and it happened to be Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat tore his ACL. Oh, wow. That was the first game I covered.
I was there for that game, too. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's first. I was right there by the ambulance, and I was like, can I put this out? He was like, yeah, go ahead. And I put it on Twitter, and, it went viral.
Yeah, man, that was a crazy day in high school football. And then also Adam. Adam has been huge. He's been patient with me. Keep in mind, he's like a 10-year vet coming into Norfolk and from Austin, Texas. And I'm like, I got no experience on there. Any other dude would be like, yo, get this cat out of here, man. But he was patient, and he taught me how to tell stories. He taught me how to write. He taught me how to do all that stuff, and just how to be competitive, in the field about, digital, on the web stories, and then in breaking stories and stuff like that. He has been so patient with me, and that's why I feel like we are good. We're not polar opposites, but we're different ends of the spectrum. So that's why I meshes so well. And he's been one of the ones that's been in my corner from day one. So it's been dope.
Has there ever been a time where you thought it was one for you? After college?
Man, when I was, before I got the job here, I was thinking man, I got an interview in Bluefield, West Virginia. And they're like, yo, we're going to pay you $11 an hour, possibly, if you come up here. I'm like, man.
And you want me to live in Bluefield, West Virginia?
Yeah.
$11 an hour?
How am I make it on that? You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm already struggling in the studio, but, they 3 came through for me. Okay. And at that time, before, everything popped off, I'm like, man, I'm just not getting any hits. I'm not getting any callbacks and stuff like that. I'm pretty raw. Am I ever going to get a shot, Am I going to have to take another job to get a shot? And then I got the call, man, and that just taught me, you just got to wait your turn, man. You got to, God has a plan for you. You walk by faith and walk by his plan. Stop thinking that your plan is going to take off.
Right.
And certain, plan A is going to take off at X date. It's just not how it works.
Right.
That's why I tell young journalists all the time. I told Kiana, because she was in, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina to start, miserable down there. It's just, because you're working in a bureau, you're not even working at the main station sometimes when you get these jobs. And it's the same for another girl that went to ODU right now, Asia Mitchell Tabb. She's out in Iowa.
Okay.
She works in the bureau too. So those first job struggles, and that was the same thing that I was going through, man. Come on, man. You wake up, man.
That was my timer for us talking.
Shoot, and here we are, still going. But
it's all good.
I told Asia, and Kiana, I was like, man, we just got to stay the course. We're going to get to where we want to vision. We visioned it. Kiana visioned getting back home to Norfolk. She's back in Norfolk, man. It's just amazing to see people follow those dreams and stick with the course. So that's what I always say. Trust the course, trust the process. In the marathon, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It continues, man. So that's real.
Man. That's good. Sure, I feel like I'm about to forget something. Oh, So young journalists now, I know you say that's something you tell them, just keep going, keep going. But do you think it's a little easier for them nowadays? Like when you have so many ways to put out content.
Man, I see them getting like thousands of retweets on their reels and stuff, and mine was trash back then, man. It was trash. Like every time I go speak back at ODU, I show them, or at Hampton, I'll go show them, my first reel that I made coming out of college. That joint was trash. And I do that to show them where I started. I put it on YouTube and I would send it out to news directors. I hope they deleted that email. But what I do is, seeing them I tell them use social media. I mean, reach out to these people are accessible. Seeing the people that go viral, hey, I'm graduating in May. I'm still looking for my first shot. That wasn't something we were doing back in 2015 because Twitter wasn't on that viral wave yet.
Right.
The algorithm has changed of Twitter where people are getting hundreds of retweets off the easy now.
Right.
And, I saw Mello do 250 plus and stuff like that. I saw this one girl, she's from Georgia. And there's a kid from Georgia State that did, I think, like 3,000 retweets, 5,000 likes. That's incredible, man. Yeah, get them views, man. Yeah. Like that's the best platform we have. Twitter is the new Google.
Right.
People can find you easily that, So I think people had to, I guess, adjust to Twitter being the new Google, in my opinion. You go to Twitter first for your news. So.
Right. How do you balance your use of social media? Because I noticed you don't really put too much controversial stuff.
No, man. I keep it. I keep some of my thoughts to myself. Because I don't think that I'm not a hot take artist. I'm not a columnist. I'm not paid to be an opinionist. So I'll do certain commentary sometimes when I feel something. And I'll try and back it up with my facts. And I'm always open for dialogue. I'm not trying to bash people or whatever. Like. I did something on the PIT and, I just said Ahmad Caver should have been in that field.
Absolutely.
And, it wasn't received with backlash or anything. PIT didn't retweet me or nothing that whole week. I still came out and covered the event. Like it's all love. It's just my take on it. I'm not trying to be a hot take artist, but I try and keep it, give people information they might not see. Maybe a sound bite that we've gotten. I'll shoot that out on Twitter or some highlights that maybe they didn't see at the game. That's the stuff we try and do because we're behind the scenes. You can get your highlights on your phone now. So I just try and, keep putting out video. Video is the key for me. Video, pictures, memes. I'm a meme artist, man. I love memes, love GIFs.
Right.
And so that's really what I keep it with, man. Just having fun out there, man. I don't want to be arguing with you on Twitter, man. Too. Yeah.
I mean, that's what's a lot. I just keep to myself because people that really don't want to. They want to they just want you to agree with them. They don't. They just want to argue.
And that's the thing, man. And now we're in an age now where it's like if you disagree with someone, it has to be like a shouting match. It really doesn't, man.
Right.
I'm just gonna articulate my facts on it.
Right.
You articulate yours, and if we still disagree at the end of the day, that's cool, man.
Right.
That's what sports is about. You're not gonna have everybody on the same side.
Right.
That's why teams were made because they're supposed to be going against opposing sides. So,
Right. You think you'll hop in this podcast lane? Anything in the future?
Yeah, man. I've just been sitting back observing for a while, just waiting until everything aligns, man. I could get into this for real.
I mean, don't take my job quite yet.
Nah,
don't
man.
take over quite yet.
Nah, man. And you already know I'm gonna have to tell you pull up, man.
Yeah,
like you told me to pull up. This is my first podcast appearance, so like it's been dope, man. Yeah. I apappreciate this for real, but I'm gonna get in that lane sooner or later.
That's what's up. I think they should. I'm thinking they show people a different side of you too, because right now people see China 3 Mitch. Yeah. That's what everybody know you as. But you like I know you. I know the real you. So I seen you out. So.
And like I started in radio, so this is like before I left ODU, that's when podcasts really took. It's weird how everything like in my era, I went from ODU from 2011 to 15, and back then we were using like Ustream or whatever it was called to do the radio,
Yep.
And that wasn't really popping. Then when I graduated, they got YouTube where they could live stream off YouTube. We weren't even doing that. And then that's when people started using the podcast app on their iPhone. It's been on there since the beginning of age of time.
Anchor now. I think you do like Anchor. You can just record straight from your phone.
You can do Anchor. All that stuff, man. We didn't really have that, and so now I've just been observing over the past couple of years how people do this. And it's been interesting to see, man.
Right. What's the biggest difference in the sports culture here in Northern Virginia?
Man, you know what? I'd say money.
Right.
I say money because you look at schools like when I was growing up, I would go to Westfield's basketball camp. They were still nice back then in like the early 2000s. They've always had money. Right. Chantilly, public schools have had money. I'm from Prince William County. Okay. They got money. There's like 13, 14 high schools in that district. If you put half of that money into, Newport News schools, Hampton schools, where they could have their own fields and facilities and didn't have to travel all the time.
Right.
And they could get, new weight rooms and stuff. It'd be incredible, man. Yeah. Like, I think the biggest difference is just, and you see the discrepancy too in like Virginia Beach and, in the peninsula schools and them having their own fields and stuff like that. I think that, money plays a huge part, but I also think the biggest thing in culture is that, seeing Northern Virginia football games, they've gotten up more. It seems like now that the high school football field is not there like it used to be when I first got here. It's shifted to high school basketball where the gyms are packed every Thursday night, every Friday night. They're packed, especially even when we went to Siegel Center. Hampton Roads was traveling hard, man. Right. And we were outnumbering Northern Virginia, and so I think the biggest thing there is just how do we get high school football attendance back up like that? It seems like people are either using their phone or, just using ESPN 94.1. They're using, Recruit 757.
Yep. I think it's just a lot more outlets now to where you don't necessarily have to leave your house. You can get updated by anybody nowadays. So it's kind of like NBA games. Like, do I really need to go to a game if I can?
Because you get an alert every time a crazy dunk happens. Right. In college basketball, you didn't need to watch the games because you got an alert every time Zion sniffed. So,
right.
I mean,
Zion that's crazy, man.
Crazy, man.
That's crazy. I don't know if you're allowed to say this, but who's the best athlete that you've seen, that you observed?
That I've seen
on a personal level?
Man, that's hard because I've seen a lot of crazy athletes. Man. I've seen Kalen LeBourne hurdle over dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen, I've seen Derek Nottie back at Florida State, Josh Sweat, seen them dudes. I've seen them in the NFL now. And then, you see guys, in basketball. Like I remember covering, I haven't covered much high school basketball, but seeing dudes like Darian Seaburn, seeing dudes like Marquise Godwin go on to, where I figured they would be. I do more of like, projecting and seeing like, these kids are hoopers. They should be at a D1 level. And then seeing dudes like, even dudes like Kyrie Temple, man, just covering Phoebus for the first time in the state games. I'm like, this dude can jump out the gym, man. Like, so I've covered a lot of athletes, and that's just a few off the top, man. But they're like football, basketball, baseball around here is crazy. Right. Western Branch has some studs.
Grassfield, we're just talking about Grassfield.
Yeah. And then even in soccer, and then covering field hockey. People sleep on field hockey down here, but there's a pipeline down here for girls to go to UVA, JMU. We like this area right here is rich in not only the revenue sports, but like the field hockey, swimming, and baseball and stuff like that, and softball.
Right,
crazy, man.
Got you. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
10 years, hopefully in Atlanta, man. Hopefully at NBA Studios, working alongside, Shaq, Charles,
Kenny
and all
Smith
that.
and all them.
Kenny Smith, EJ, man. Yeah, I met Ernie Johnson, real cool dude. Actually met him at the All-Star game in DC, baseball All-Star game. I would love to do something like that, and they're pretty good about their in-studio shows. So I don't see, as you see things kind of condensed in other networks. NBA TV, that's a niche network. So there's always going to be a need for NBA fans and stuff like that. So I don't see that dying anytime soon. So I would love to be there, man.
You ever thought about going over to print?
Nah, I haven't. Cause we do enough writing, on the web, man. Yeah. So, it's kind of like, I would do some stuff, I would do, a feature here and there or do a op-ed here or there. But I think I like being in this lane, being in the TV lane and then being able to just talk to people because that's essentially what a podcast is, just a conversation. And I would love to be able to do that more than the 5 to 10 minutes I get. I only get 10 minutes with Allen Iverson. Only get 10 minutes with Michael Vick. Let's get about 35 minutes, see where we go, from there. So
how hard is it not to be like a groupie, like a stand during those moments? Like,
Man,
get your autograph.
Because those are dudes I grew up watching, man. Like I was 2000. I'm like playing backyard basketball, watching AI in the final step over Ty Lue.
Right.
And you know, it's just it really makes you think like, damn, I'm old, bro. Like this is like covering the dudes that I grew up watching, having the shoes up, man. It just makes you feel old, man. Yeah. You know, at this point, I've seen just about, you know, been around just about everybody. So like the stand in me is kind of gone.
Right.
I just really enjoy getting that microphone in their face and asking them a question more than, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, can I get your autograph?
Right.
I'd love to though. Should sign my AI jersey. My Pistons.
But you never done it.
Nah, I haven't, man. I haven't. I think the only time I did that, and it's so embarrassing because I think one time a coworker wanted me to, you know, get a flag signed for him or something like that. And that's the only time that's happened.
For real?
Oh yeah, you know, Mike Tomlin, you're interviewing, you know, head coaches that are from the area of like Super Bowl champion teams. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to take that in. I always try and take it in. People just think like, oh, he's just working. Nah, man, I take that in every time I'm around those people because everybody doesn't have access to that. You got to pay hundreds of dollars to be around those people. And I get to go cover it for work. So,
So is it a job? You know, at a certain point, is it still a job or is it like, this is my dream?
This is my dream still, man. Like, I can't imagine myself doing anything else right now. It's just like, I'm so invested in this and, you know, TV and sports and just being in this lane where I talk to athletes or where I tell their stories. I'm so invested in that lane, man. So no matter, you know, no matter what happens, I feel like that's where I would, you know, go next or whatever. That's cool. That's, man, it's love, man.
It's real cool. So what you doing today? Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, man. I'm Cinco de Worko, yo. Man, I'm about to be at work. I'm gonna hit up the Tides though. Hit up the Tides game and see what time does that start? They're about 1:00. They've been rocking since they're on a 5-game win streak. So I'm gonna go check them out.
That's dope. I may swing now. I'm at the Wine Fest today.
Oh, yeah, the Wine Fest, yeah.
I'm at the Wine. I might see. I don't know. Depends.
In my time, I have not. In my 8 years here, I've not been to a Wine Fest. I'm like, dang, yeah.
Actually, the only reason I'm going to be real, we got tickets last week. So
I mean,
myself and the producer, we got free tickets last week. So
you fall on some tickets. You
got to go. Man. And to be real, like, you know, the festival last weekend festival was like, you know what, I need to get out here and start doing stuff. Yeah, like, have a little bit of fun. You know, enjoy it.
You only live once, man.
Man.
It's cliche, but it's real. Yeah, man. That's real talk. Enjoy that time for real.
It's real talk.
Yeah, man.
But thanks for coming on, man.
Man, appreciate you.
Anytime, brother.
Yes, sir.